So I just came back from volunteering at my last placement, and there was an incident that happened today that kind of sparked a past memory of mine. So I want to talk today about the gender gap. I'm sure we've all heard of the term before, but it's such a wide topic that I kind of want to talk about how sometimes it can be subliminal within today's society. So the gender gap is a discrepancy between genders, and that could be in terms of opportunities, it could be in terms of social status. An example of this would be voting. So men had the right to vote all along, whereas it took women quite a while to be legally able to vote. So I was volunteering in a grade 7 classroom a couple years ago, and the teacher provided the students with a job title. So it was their responsibility to become like an expert on that job, and they could compare it to different countries or different other similar job descriptions. But I noticed that when I was talking to the students, the teacher had given the girls traditional female careers and gave male students traditional male careers. I was kind of shocked, and so I asked the teacher more questions about the project, and she mentioned that the male students had put male-like careers down on the get to know me interview at the beginning of the year. So it was interesting to find out that it wasn't the teacher's choice to give female students traditional female careers, but it was more so the female students who chose traditional female careers, which shocked me because it seemed they're so oblivious to it. I couldn't help but think as to why this might be, that each gender assumes their traditional role in society. However, even though I did experience that, I do believe that society has come a long way in terms of reducing this ideology of traditional male or female roles. Like to think of it, we have male nurses, we have female politicians. Even kids' toys nowadays are gender neutral. Like Lego was like a boy's toy. My brother had it. Nobody else could play with it unless you were a boy. But Lego now has multicolored Legos where they're pink, they're purple, they're orange, they're green. Anyone can play with them. So today I was in my kindergarten class, and the associate teacher only has daughters. So most of the toys that are donated to the class are like table sets, dresses for the dramatic center, or Barbies. But the last item she brought in was this 3x3, like it was half the size of me, a dollhouse. It was called a Barbie Dream Dollhouse. So the boys didn't go as crazy over it, but the females went nuts over it. They all wanted to play with it. But there was one little boy who wanted to play with it so bad, so he was raising his hand, he was shouting out loud. But the other boys in the class, I noticed, were laughing at him. So my teacher also noticed. So she addressed the class that everybody will get a turn to play if they choose to. But it became a popular toy more for the boys than it did for the girls, which was quite interesting. But what really stood out to me was the fact that a 4-year-old boy was shy and nervous to express his excitement because he thought the toy was only allowed for girls. But it's crazy because kids learn gender roles at such a young age, but my AT was so good about it, trying to show that any gender can play with this toy. We did touch upon the term intersectionality during 1 week of class. This term was invented by, I believe it was Kimberly Williams Crenshaw, and she invented it in 1989. And we also read a paper called Intersectionality 101. But there was a specific point that really stood out to me that I'd like to read to you. It goes like this. Human lives cannot be explained by taking into account single categories, such as gender, race, and socioeconomic status. People's lives are multidimensional and complex. Lived realities are shaped by different factors and social dynamics operating together. But what really stood out to me from this quote was the term single categories. I believe that not only as an educator, but as a citizen of society, we need to stop the gender gap when gender-specific roles are touched upon. As an educator, I want every student to know that I believe they can be whoever they want to be. Whether a male student wants to be a fashion designer or a female student wants to be an engineer. As an educator, I want my students to know that there is no single category that they fit under. Rather, they are a unique piece from a mosaic of individuals in the world. Thanks.